guys, let's start lecture number 3. Urdu IT Academy's lecture number 3, spoken versus written English. A lot of you guys have expressed your concerns on I'm teaching you too much writing and not enough speaking. There's a reason behind this. English is spoken the exact same way that it's written and written the exact same way that it's spoken. It's much more beneficial for me to teach you how to write because you will learn how to speak by learning how to write. However, if I teach you only how to speak, you will never pick up the grammatical conventions necessary, and so you'll never learn how to use a comma, how to use a period, how to use an exclamation mark, and those are all very essential skills that you need to know. Also, a lot of you have expressed concerns that I talk too fast and that you're not picking up on the lecture as well as you should. I want you to understand that there's a reason I'm speaking at the level that I do. If I slow down, you won't understand how a real English speaker speaks, and so you'll never get used to it. Then in the future, when your boss or your future employees are speaking this fast, you won't be able to understand them. I want you to be able to get used to speaking this fast and hearing English that's spoken this fast so that you have the skills already, so that when it's time for you to get started, you're already at the level that you need to be. We're going to start a little bit away from spoken versus written English, but we're going to build up to that point. So let's get started. What we're going to learn today is how to use the phone to hold a different conversation and to ask for a specific department or to ask for something that we need help with. You're going to learn how to use your introduction skills at an interview. You're going to be able to understand the differences between spoken and written English, and you're going to be able to utilize the basic conventions of the English language. I also want to preface this with saying that you guys can at any point pause the video, and I want you to make sure that if at any point you get confused, you ask a question about it on the Facebook page, because I will generally answer that question if you ask me one. But if you don't ask a question, I can't answer anything. I also want to make sure you guys are doing the homework because that is important. So introducing yourself is always our first step. I'm going to hammer this into you guys every single video. First, we're going to call someone and answer as if we're the customer. We're not actually going to. We're going to pretend. Then we'll do it all over again as if we're the support side. You guys have already filled both sides because you work in IT, but I'm assuming, and so this should be really easy for you guys. It should not be a difficult lecture at all. So, assume that we actually call somebody or that somebody calls us. So the phone is ringing and you answer it. Hello. My name is Hamza. I work with company whatever. How can I help you today? And then the customer is going to ask you, oh, well, I'm looking for this and this. That's it. The conversation is over. The phone is really all about confidence. What about when you have to answer the phone? So you call company A and you wait for them to pick up, and the person on the other line is asking you what you need. So you tell them, hi, my name is customer whatever. So you would put your name here. Hi, my name is Hamza. If it's a product that you're calling for, you would just, give them your ID or whatever. And then you would say, this is what I'm looking for. This is what I need help with. Hi, my iPhone's camera is broken. Can you help me get somebody? And they'll work with you on getting whatever you need. The point is that there are 3 kinds of sentences in English. A direct sentence ends in a period and will always be a simple sentence. You can see here, hello, my name is Hamza, and I'm looking for whatever. That is a direct sentence. There is no intonation here. Intonation is the tone with which you speak. If you look at the second sentence, hey, I'm looking for this. Can you help me find it? Whatever the blank is that you're looking for, hey, I'm looking for the financial department. Can you help me find it? That's called an inquisitive statement or a question. That always ends in a question mark. Always. The last one is called an exclamatory sentence because it ends in an exclamation mark. These are usually to express excitement. Hi! Your voice will go much higher, your tone will change, and this represents excitement. Hi, can you tell me where blank is? So this ends in a question. It started as an exclamation and ended in a sentence. How to introduce yourself at an interview. Interviews often go exactly the same way. One interview won't be different from another. Almost all interviews go the exact same way. So they'll almost always be able to use the same skills to pass one interview over another. So you walk in, "Hi, my name is Hamza." And your boss will lean over and shake your hand, and he'll introduce himself. And then you can get started on the interview. So it would go something along the lines of, "Hi, my name is Hamza." "Hi, Hamza. Can you tell me something about yourself?" And then you would use the skills that you learned last time to tell who you are and what you want. "My name is Hamza. I'm in college studying biology, and this is what I want, and this is what I hope to achieve." I hope that makes sense for you guys. The do's and don'ts of an interview. I think this is more important than the first part because introductions always go the same way, but it's the middle of the interview that people get confused. Be calm, collected, and know what you're saying. Rehearse. Rehearse means to go over something over and over again. Rehearse something as many times as you need to. Look at yourself in the mirror and practice the interview. This will help you in the future. Be natural and casual. Do not freak out. Be honest and straightforward. Do not lie. Lying is bad. It will only get you in trouble. Do not be shy or awkward. Bosses look for employees who are confident. And when I say all of this, I'm talking about your English language skill, but this also applies generally. If you're sweating and if you're stammering means to not be able to use words properly. And if you're, I don't know what to say here, then you won't be able to get very far in the interview. Don't be afraid of messing up, okay? Making mistakes is only part of the human process and only helps you improve. It proves to your boss that you're not some kind of robot. Making mistakes is okay. What's not okay is making a mistake and shutting down. Make a mistake and keep going with as much confidence as you started with. So let's have a mock interview right now. You're going to walk into the room. "Hi, my name is Hamza." "Oh, hi Hamza, nice to meet you. Are you here for the interview?" Yeah, I'm here to apply for the interview." "Okay, awesome. So tell me a little bit about yourself." "Okay, well, I am a freshman in college, and I hope to achieve a long-term unity with this company. I hope to work with you guys, and I hope that we can teach each other a lot. I have previous skill in both IT and English skills. I'm a very good coordinator and have worked in the past with many fields." So at this point, your boss is probably impressed with you, and they're like, "Oh, wow, that's a lot of experience. Tell me a little bit about whatever your past experience with coordinating people is." So you tell them, "Oh, well, I used to be the leader at this volunteer organization, and so I did a good job with coordinating people and telling them where to go and what to do." All the interview is confidence. How confident can you be in using the English skills that I'm teaching you? I promise you, by the time I'm done with you, you're going to be able to go through these like it's no problem. So let's get down to our spoken versus written English, because this is why you guys were here. English is very heavily writing based. English speech is done exactly the way it is written. English writing is done exactly the way it is spoken. So let's analyze why that works out the way it does. See, English grammar is done to represent speech. And so if you look at written, you'll see that there's a comma after it. The comma represents a space. And you'll notice, if you go back in the video, when I read that sentence, I took a space between written and English. English speech is done exactly the way it is written. English writing is done exactly the way it is spoken. So you'll understand that each little punctuation mark in English is done to represent a specific thing. The punctuation of an exclamation mark is to represent excitement. The punctuation of a question mark is to represent a question. The punctuation of a comma is to represent a breath being taken or a space being given in the sentence. One great example of this is the word ain't. If you live in America, you will hear the word ain't. Ain't is not a real word. Ain't is what happens when you take the word isn't and make it very country sounding. In America, the country accent is something you're going to have to get used to because that's what people in the South use to speak the English language. So ain't is not a real word. However, because it appears in English so much, people acknowledge it as if it was a real word. So the writing of English is influenced directly by the speech, and the speech is influenced directly by the writing. Let's practice written versus spoken. Since conversation isn't scripted, since you can't practice conversations before they happen because they happen very, very spontaneously, you can't use all the words you learn. Don't try to use big words. In conversation, using small words is totally okay. Especially during an interview, if your boss feels like you're trying to make them confused by using big words, it won't end well for you. Speak just like you would normally. In speech, we use things like conversation tags and fillers, exclamation marks, expletives, and hesitations. So let's go over each of those for a second. Fillers and conversation tags are things like oh. Things like those fill spaces between a sentence to give you an idea of what emotion is being expressed. Exclamations are things like, oh, hey, things that are very loud, things that are very expressive of something exciting happening. Expletives are things like cuss words. I don't swear, so I'm not going to use those, but you guys know what expletives are, and if you really don't, just Google expletives and you'll find out very, very fast. Hesitations are just spaces. Do you see how I separated that sentence right there? Hesitations are just thinking before the actual words come out of your mouth. Writing is much more formal than spoken English. And in writing, you're going to use a lot more effort to use bigger words to sound better. In writing, you have to be much, much more careful about your punctuation as well. People will forgive you for making mistakes while speaking. People will not forgive you for making mistakes while writing because you have the chance to go back over whatever you were writing. Punctuation. We're just going to review really quick. We're going to do this every single episode like I told you guys last time. How to use quotation marks. So a quotation mark is used to say something that has already been said by somebody else. A quotation mark, the use of it is to express that this idea does not belong to me. If I were quoting Shakespeare, for instance, but soft, what light through yonder window breaks? I would put it in between quotation marks to represent that this was not said by me, and I would source it to Shakespeare, just like I said up there. If I was not using quotation marks as a quote of somebody directly, then I would use them to express a different meaning. I would use them to express that doubt or sarcasm or to imply an alternate meaning. You can see down here, Hamza's lectures aren't even all that serious. I could do better. Do you see where lectures, the tone changed, where I expressed a quotation mark on lectures? So here you can see actually the use of a double quotation. The first thing, Hamza's lectures aren't even all that serious, I could do better, is in quotations because I took that from somebody else. And then I put quotation marks around lectures as well. When you are putting a quotation within a quotation, you use the single quotation mark. When you are using a quotation without something inside of it, then you would only use the double. It takes practice to get used to. However, I know that with time, you guys will become masters. Let's talk about what we're going to do next week. We're going to talk about casual social meetings, how to talk in the office. I want your suggestions, so make sure in the comments you talk about what things in English you aren't sure of so that we can cover it in next week's agenda. How to talk to your employer. We're going to talk about what things you can talk about with your boss. We're going to talk again about punctuation with exclamation marks, periods, and commas. We're going to do more spoken versus written practice, and we're going to talk about tense in English, past, present, and future tense. And we're going to talk about where verbs actually go and how to use verbs with past, present, and future, because in English, the use of a verb changes depending on the tense that it's in. All right, you guys. This is homework time. I know you guys love having homework because it allows you to practice English. I've compiled a Quizlet for you guys. I'm going to leave the link on the Facebook page. It's going to be compiled of the commonly misused words in the English language, and I want you guys to practice them so that you understand which words are meant to be used and how. Thanks. Have a good time. I wish you guys a lot of luck. Thanks for watching.